Have you ever felt it? That coldness that comes after the fire, that emptiness that follows passion. You did everything this world taught you. You put on that dress. You chose the most beautiful lingerie. You played the role expected of you, the role of a desired object. And for a moment it worked. The gaze was caught, the desire was ignited. But then, in the silence, when the masks were off and the bodies were cooling, you were left with the same piercing question. Is that all there is? This emptiness is not your fault. It's a symptom of a world that taught us to confuse skin with soul. A world that screams about the body, but is silent about what lies within. A world that sells you sex as the peak of intimacy, but leaves you emotionally starved. Because the biggest lie we believed is that the way to a man's heart is through his eyes. But that's not the path to his heart. It's the path to his instincts. And instincts are fleeting. They flare up and die out. Carl Jung, the man who descended into the darkest depths of the human psyche, knew the truth. He knew that beneath the surface of every man, under his mask of hunter, warrior, or provider, lives something far more subtle and vulnerable. Jung called it the anima, his inner woman, his soul. And here is the cruel but liberating truth. You can arouse his body by exposing yours, but you can never truly hold him until you learn to arouse his anima. And for that, you don't need to undress. For that, you need something far bolder, far rarer, and infinitely more sexual. For that, you need to speak. Not just speak, but create a space through words where his soul feels seen. This is what we call intellectual seduction. And it's not a game of wits. It's the alchemy of the soul. It is an art that, if you master it, will make you not just desired. It will make you unforgettable. Because the body's forgotten. But the one who touched your soul, never. Most women don't understand this. They keep competing on a field where the rules are not written in their favor. They spend hours at the gym, thousands on cosmetics, endless energy maintaining a facade, their persona, as Jung would say. And they attract men, yes. But which men? Those who are looking for a trophy. Those who see a woman only as a reflection of their status, a beautiful object to show the world. These men are not looking for connection. They are looking for validation. And when the novelty wears off, when the trophy is won, their gaze begins to wander in search of the next one. Modern dating has turned into a casting call. You show up to a meeting not as a person, but as a walking emotional resume. You must be fun, but not frivolous. Smart, but not arrogant. Sexual, but not vulgar. You display an edited version of yourself, your personal brand, hoping it will be bought. And he does the same. You both play this spectacle, exchanging polished stories and rehearsed jokes. But behind this glossy facade is a gaping emptiness. Because in this game, it's not people who meet, but their representatives, their personas. And it's no wonder that after such a date, you feel not fulfilled, but emptied, as if you were at a job interview and not a meeting of two souls. How many times have you felt this yourself? That devaluation that comes as soon as you become available? That shift in dynamics when you turn from a mysterious stranger into a read book. You gave him your body, thinking it was the highest form of intimacy, and in return, you got distance. And you are left bewildered, analyzing your every word, every action, asking yourself, what did I do wrong? But it's not about what you did, it's about what language you spoke. You spoke the language of the body, and he answered you in the same language. It is the language of instinct, possession, and quick saturation. But there is another language, a language understood by few, but craved by all, even if they don't realize it. The language of the soul. Intellectual seduction is not about quoting philosophers or discussing quantum physics. Forget about that. It's not an exam, it's a dance. It's the ability to see beyond the words. It's the skill of asking questions that open not the mind, but the soul. When you meet a man, the world teaches you to show him your best sides, your success, your beauty, your lightheartedness. But a woman who masters the art of intellectual seduction does the opposite. She doesn't show, she seeks. She becomes a mirror not for his ego, but for his shadow. The shadow, according to Jung, is everything we hide. Our fears, our insecurities, our secret dreams, our suppressed ambitions. It's the part of a man he never shows his friends over a beer. It's the part he hides from his colleagues. It's the part he may even hide from himself. And here you are. Instead of asking him, "What do you do for a living?" you look him in the eye and ask, "What lights your fire when no one is watching?" Instead of, "How was your day?" you ask, "Tell me about a moment when you felt truly alive." Do you feel the difference? The first type of question is addressed to his persona, his social mask. The second, to his soul. When you ask such questions, something magical happens. A momentary flicker of confusion crosses his eyes. His rehearsed answers, his usual facade, crack. You bypassed his defenses. You knock not on the door of his house, but on the secret door of his inner world. And when you do that, you touch upon the biggest secret and the deepest wound of modern man. You touch upon his existential loneliness. Society demands him to be strong, invulnerable, successful. His persona is the armor of a stoic who has no right to weakness, to doubt, to tears. From childhood, he was taught to suppress his sensitivity, his anima, because in patriarchal logic, sensitivity is a feminine quality and therefore a weakness. He grew up in an emotional desert where the only acceptable feelings were anger and lust. And here he sits before you, encased in this armor, and all his life he is waiting for someone to see not the warrior, but the prisoner inside that armor. He is waiting for the one who will ask the question that will be the key to his prison. And when you ask that question, you do exactly that. You tell him without words, "I see you. Not your car, not your job title, not your muscles. I see your soul, which is suffocating under the layers of these social roles." This is the moment of truth. He will either be frightened and retreat because his own vulnerability terrifies him too much, and then you will know he is not ready. Or he will take a step toward you. He will allow himself this luxury to be real. And in that moment, he becomes dependent, not on you as a person, but on the state he experiences next to you, a state of wholeness. In this moment, he begins to see in you not just a woman, he begins to see in you the rarest archetype that Jung would call the psychopomp, the guide of the soul. You are the one who can guide him from the world of external achievements to the world of inner meanings. You become his bridge to himself. And this excites him on such a fundamental level that it has nothing to do with physiology. It is the excitement of the anticipation of freedom, the freedom to be himself. And at that moment, he begins to speak. And you must be ready for what he will tell. You will hear about his failures that he hides behind the bravado of success. You will hear about his fears that he masks with cynicism. You will hear about his childhood dreams that he buried under the pressure of parental expectations. And your task is not to judge, not to advise, not to save. God forbid. Your task is simply to be a sacred space where all these repressed parts of his personality can finally come out into the light and be accepted. This is the first act of intellectual seduction. You are not trying to impress him. You are giving him the space to impress himself by opening up to you. This process requires incredible courage on your part because it demands your presence, not just physical, but total. You must listen, not just to the words, but to the pauses between them, not just to the story, but to the emotion behind it. You must catch the note of sadness in his voice when he speaks of an unfulfilled dream. You must notice the spark in his eyes when he talks about his true passion. You become the archaeologist of his soul. You are not breaking into a safe, you are gently with a brush, clearing away layers of dust and oblivion from something precious that has long been buried. You listen not with your ears, but with your whole being. You hear the vibration of the unsaid. You feel the energy behind his carefully chosen words. This is not a passive process. It is an active, focused creation of safety. It is not manipulation. Manipulation is an attempt to get something from another. Intellectual seduction is an act of giving. You are giving him the most valuable thing in this world, your complete, undivided attention. In a world where everyone is on their phones, where everyone is distracted, where no one truly listens, your presence becomes the most powerful aphrodisiac. When a man feels that he is being listened to on such a deep level, his anima awakens. His soul, accustomed to silence, begins to whisper. And that whisper is addressed to you. He begins to share what he has not shared with anyone. He projects onto you, as Jung would say, the image of a savior, a muse, the one who can understand him. His body may desire many, but his soul now begins to desire only you. And this is where the second, even more important act takes place. After you have opened him up, you must dare to open up yourself, but not in the way others do. Others complain, others boast, others list their achievements. You do something else. You share not facts, but your essence. You don't say, I love to travel. You say, there's something about the smell of the air before a storm in an unfamiliar city that makes me feel infinite. You don't say, I work a lot. You say, sometimes I get so immersed in my work that the world ceases to exist, and that is the closest feeling to magic I know. You share your unique perspective on the world, your quirks, your passions, your vulnerability. You show him not an ideal picture, but a living, breathing, feeling human being. You show him your own shadow and your own light. And by doing this, you give him permission to be imperfect next to you. In this moment, not just a dialogue is created, a connection is created, a third space is created, invisible but palpable, that belongs only to the two of you. In this space, there is no room for pretense. There is no room for games. There are only two souls who dare to be real with each other, and that's when the alchemy happens. The physical desire, which may have been there from the start, transmutes. It ceases to be just an instinct. It becomes an extension of that soulful connection. It becomes a thirst not just to possess the body, but to merge with this soul that saw you. Now his desire is not just lust, it is reverence, it is adoration. A man who has been intellectually seduced looks at you differently. He doesn't look at your legs or your chest. He looks into your eyes, trying again and again to peer into the world you opened up to him. The touch of his hand is no longer just a touch. It is a question. It is an attempt to make sure you are real. A kiss is not a prelude to sex. It is an act of veneration. The sex that is born from such a connection is not just friction. It is a conversation in a language older than words. It is a meeting of two universes. It is not emptying. It is filling. And after such sex, there is no emptiness. There is silence. But it is not the cold silence of alienation. It is the warm, pulsating silence of unification. A silence in which two people lie side by side, and they don't need to say anything because everything has already been said on a level inaccessible to ordinary consciousness. But here lies a huge responsibility. To awaken a person's soul is not a game. It is not a technique that can be applied and discarded. When you open this door in a man, you take on an invisible but colossal responsibility. Because if you do it out of ego, for entertainment, and then leave, you will leave him not just with a broken heart. You will leave him with an open soul wound, perhaps deeper than any before. You will commit what can be called a spiritual betrayal. He entrusted you with the most intimate thing, and you used it as a toy. That is why intellectual seduction is a weapon available only to those who have reached a certain level of maturity themselves. To those who understand the sacredness of such a moment, this radically distinguishes it from the culture of modern dating. The world of dating apps is a carousel of superficiality. It is emotional fast food, thousands of profiles, quick swipes, short, non-committal chats. People have become a commodity in a shop window. Relationships have become transactions. Intimacy has become an illusion. Intellectual seduction is an act of rebellion against this system. It is a statement. I refuse to participate in this masquerade. I refuse to reduce myself and you to a set of photos and characteristics. I am not looking for a partner for leisure. I am looking for an accomplice for a journey into the depths. And this statement, even unsaid, instantly changes the rules of the game. A woman who has mastered this art becomes dangerous to the existing order of things. She destroys the market for superficial relationships. She becomes a living reproach to the world of disposable connections. Men who are only looking for quick gratification start to fear her. They sense her depth and instinctively understand that they don't know how to play on this field. Their usual tricks, their rehearsed compliments, their empty promises, all are shattered by her calm, seeing-through presence. They call her complicated, too smart, or too intense. But in reality, they are simply saying, I am not worthy of you. And this is the greatest gift of intellectual seduction. It works as a filter. It weeds out the immature, the empty, those who are not ready for true depth. And it attracts, like a magnet, those who are ready. Those who have done the inner work themselves. Those whose soul also yearns for a real encounter. Such a man, upon meeting you, recognizes you instantly. Not because he has seen you before, but because he has been waiting for someone like you all his life. He has been waiting for a woman with whom he can talk for hours and feel time disappear. A woman who will challenge his mind and soothe his soul. A woman next to whom he can take off his social armor and just be. For such a man, your ability to converse, your depth, your unique perspective, become the most sexual thing in the world. He has seen hundreds of beautiful bodies, but he has never met such a mind, such a soul. Your lingerie can excite him for one night, but one conversation with you will excite him for a lifetime. Carl Jung spoke of the process of individuation, the path of becoming oneself, whole, real. Intellectual seduction is not a technique to get a man. It is a side effect of your own individuation. You can only master it when you yourself become deep. When you yourself stop seeking validation outside. When you yourself fall in love with your own inner world, with your thoughts, with your feelings. When you are filled from within, you no longer need to prove anything outside. Your silence becomes as meaningful as your words. Your gaze says more than 1,000 compliments. Your presence becomes a space in which other people also begin to feel more alive, more real. Think about it. The world is desperately trying to turn you into a commodity, into a set of parameters, height, weight, hair color, into a picture for Instagram, into an object for consumption. And every time you play by these rules, you betray the boundless universe that is inside you. The real revolution is to refuse to play this game. It is to bet not on your appearance, but on your essence. It is to develop not muscles, but your inner world. It is to read not glossy magazines, but books that make your soul tremble. It is to spend time not chasing likes, but in silence, listening to yourself. This path is not for everyone. It requires courage. The courage to be misunderstood. The courage to go against the current. The courage to sometimes be alone because you refuse to settle for the superficial connections the world offers you. But the reward for this path is priceless. The reward is wholeness. The reward is self-respect. And the reward is the ability to create such deep, real, all-consuming connections that others can only dream of. When you walk this path, you change. You stop asking, am I good enough for him? You start asking, is he interesting enough for me? You stop worrying about pleasing him. You start observing whether he is even capable of seeing you. This is a shift in power, but it is not the power of dominance. It is sovereign power over your own life and your own choices. You are no longer an object that is chosen. You are a subject who chooses herself, and your energy becomes your main message to the world. It becomes an energetic tuning fork. When you walk into a room, people who vibrate at the same frequency of authenticity feel it. They are drawn to you, even without knowing why. And those who live in a world of falsity feel an inexplicable discomfort. Your presence in itself becomes a mirror that hurts them to look into. And when you enter into a dialogue with a man from this state of wholeness and self-respect, he feels it on a cellular level. He feels that before him is not a needy girl, but a woman who asks nothing of him because she already has everything within. And that is why he desperately wants to give her something. He wants to give her his time, his attention, his admiration, his soul, because he subconsciously understands that this is the only way to become a part of her incredible world. So next time you are preparing for a date, pause for a moment. Instead of thinking about what to wear, think about what you want to talk about. Instead of worrying about how you look, focus on how you feel. Prepare not your body, prepare your soul, because the most sexual thing you can do is not undress in front of a man. The most sexual thing is to dare to show him your soul, knowing that he may have never seen anything more beautiful and more terrifying. And if he can withstand that light, if he doesn't run away, if he wants to stay in this space you have created, then you will know. You have found not just a lover, you have found a companion for your soul. And no lace lingerie in the world can compare to that. Perhaps now, listening to this, you feel a resonance within you, a tremor, a recognition. Perhaps it is the voice of that part of you that always knew this truth, but was afraid to believe it. That part that is tired of superficiality and craves depth. That part that intuitively understands that true intimacy is something more than just physical contact. This is not just information, it is an invitation. An invitation to begin your own path to individuation. An invitation to shift the focus from the external to the internal. An invitation to become a woman whose main erogenous zone is her mind, and whose most powerful weapon of seduction is her soul. This path does not promise to be easy. It will require honesty with yourself. It will require you to bravely abandon old, non-working patterns. It may lead some people to leave your life because they will not be able to match your new depth. But those who stay and those who come will be people of your caliber. People with whom a real, genuine, breathtaking connection is possible. Everything you are looking for in the arms of others, acceptance, recognition, a sense of your worth, you will find all of that within yourself when you start this journey. And the paradox is that as soon as you stop looking for it, you will start receiving it in abundance. The world will continue to scream at you that you should be thinner, younger, sexier. It will show you millions of pictures of ideal bodies and ideal lives. But now you have the antidote. Now you know where the source of true, lasting attraction is. It is not in the mirror. It is in the depth of your gaze. It is in the timbre of your voice when you speak of what you love. It is in the courage to be yourself without masks and pretense. Jung taught that our main task is not to strive for perfection, but to strive for wholeness. Wholeness is the acceptance of all your parts, both light and shadow, both strength and vulnerability, both mind and body. A woman who becomes whole ceases to be an object in a man's world. She herself becomes a world one wants to enter and stay in forever. If these words have touched something in you, if they have awakened something that has long been sleeping, do not let that feeling fade. It is no accident that you heard this right now. This is your soul speaking to you. It is saying, enough. Enough settling for less. Enough believing the lies. It's time to remember who you truly are. Allow this message to be the beginning of your transformation. Share this video with another woman who is also tired of superficiality and looking for true depth. Like it not for us, but as a symbol of your agreement with this truth. Write in the comments which thought resonated with you the most to solidify this realization for yourself. And subscribe to the channel if you are ready to continue this journey inward, to your true power, to your authentic sexuality. Because at the end of the day, when all the tinsel of this world has fallen away, only one thing will remain. Not how you looked, but how you were. Not how many gazes you caught, but how many souls you touched. Start with one, his, and then your own. For the deepest seduction is always a mutual process. By seducing his soul, you awaken yours.